This week's channeled message from Isla, who is the mother of creation, is a gorgeous message of encouragement and support, asking us as light workers, by which I mean light workers, I mean that you are here, you are in the light. It's those of us who've awakened and who want to help. That's my definition of a light worker. She is letting us know that now is an important time where we need to fortify ourselves. She's talking about a lot of change on the horizon, and this is a really important time that we need to go internal and find an inner strength, which we will rely on as we are moving through these experiences that are coming towards us. So, welcome back to my channel, you guys. I am so glad you are here. Thank you so much for being part of this community with me. I'm very, very grateful. And to those of you that are new, welcome. My name is Ann Tucker. I'm a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm, and I also channel the mother of creation. She calls herself Isla, and she is the mother of all souls. So as I was saying, this week's message, it is, I think of it as it's a really encouraging, really beautiful message. And my format is I will share with you the original channeling, which I actually did it earlier today. I'm pre-recording this week's message because I'm going to be traveling. I'm heading out. It's Wendy's birthday, so I'm heading out for her birthday. Yay! For the weekend. So I wanted to get this message ready for you guys before I left. So I also want to let you know, coming up, if you have been wanting to join my Soul Convergence program, which is my deepest healing program, it starts not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We're literally 1 week away. So it's not too late if you want to come and be a part of it. Soul Convergence is the deepest healing program that I offer. It is an amazing experience, helping you to go into really the deepest trauma that we have, which is that from the womb to age 7. And the womb is actually where I had the majority of my trauma that I kept playing out throughout my life. Was actually, I could trace it all the way back to the womb. And that's really hard for us to get at by ourselves. And this is a process with the angels that helps us to pull that energy forward and move through it, so that you can finally come to terms with and to settle those patterns that seem to just pop up and create havoc. And I know it created havoc in my life and probably in yours too. And Soul Convergence is, it is, for me, it took me decades to move through all those energies, but with the angels, it's possible to condense that down to just literally this period of months where you go through this experience with them. And so anyways, if you'd like to know more about it, it's on my website, antucker.com/soul-convergence. And I hope you can join me. So, all right, so let's dive into the message. If you are ready, take a breath. And I'm going to go ahead and play the original channeling. And then afterwards, we'll break it down and talk it through. Blessed beings, I am with you once again. You are not alone. There are good things coming. There are new things arriving for you very soon. New things of awakening, new times of exploring. There's change on the horizon. And yes, equally far as you all can see, there's change coming. There's change that is happening now in your environments where you are, what you're observing. But these changings are of the type to transform, not to modify, but to subject the old to a refabrication in their entirety, to make wholly renewable, to change what was and to reform it into a new structure, a new way of life and living. And this is coming. And for yourselves who are in every moment awakening further and further, who are in each instant of breath climbing into higher and higher precipices upon which you will gaze out across what will be your new future, you are coming into a time where you are separating from that which was. And as you do, shall you feel loss, not as you are thinking? Shall you feel fear, not as you are imagining? Because the new shall herald your name so bright, so light, so free, that you will rise into it, in the freedom of one who has found release. The change that is arising for each of you shall be customized to your own frame of reference, to your own starting point, to the place where you are now and today. And shall it begin in the same moment? Not exactly, not as you would wish it to come, not as if there could be a predicted moment upon which you all may land your hopes and aspirations, but as you are each readying yourselves to reinterpret what comes, to see the new rising from the old, to begin again. There must be within the self a degree of fortification, a degree of strength that you can find for your own new arrival. There must be a fortification that takes place now as you are preparing for this great insolvency of the world as it has been, and the great arrival of what is new that is coming for yourselves. You must pull yourselves up from the depth of what could be a changing formation. You must rise into the specter of what can become something beautiful and transformative for yourselves and this world. There can be a wishful thinking that occurs in these momentary pauses between the now and the great changes. There can be feelings of being separated from what is your own truth. There can be fears that you are settled upon something that will not take you where you wanted, or that you will be left behind. And I would say you cannot be lost from what is within you. What is rising into the new day is yourselves. It is coming from within the very heart that you carry, and it cannot be lost from you. It is only the strength that is needed to carry it into the higher octave of existence. There shall be, yes, in the times that are coming, great fluorescences of light that arrive to instill within you increased power, increased fortification for this renewal. But until those arrivals, there must be within this time that is coming strength from within, strength from the self that you are. How can you find it, and what must it look like, this strength? What do I mean? It is the strength of faith in yourself, the faith that you are made from love, that you have arrived to a point where you are able to embrace yourselves, where you are able to love what is within you. This is the strength that is required. Turn inward in moments of doubt and offer yourselves that forgiveness which is required of all that has not yet been met with. Give yourself the peace of this pause and love yourselves internally. Stretch yourselves no further than you are ready for. Do not force yourself into a shape that is not yet easily held. Be at peace with where you are and take heart in where you are going and where you are being led by what is within you. The strength can be made bolder within community, for each other, with each other, holding for each other hope, holding for each other what is settling within your own hearts. Whisper to one another words of encouragement and strength. Find that there will be moments where fear settles within you, and do not worry about this. Notice the fear, allow the fear, and let the love inside you settle down with it and embrace it until it feels heard. And know yourselves to be on a path that is drawing you higher and higher into greater and greater shapes of your truth. That which will rise from within you will leave behind the shapes of internal torment that sometimes lead you into hardship. Do not worry about those parts of you you have not yet found friendship with. Do your best. Give yourself the rest that is needed. Offer yourself peace from your internal struggles. Be not in judgment of where you are today and where you are imperfect. Know that the journey is unfolding with you within it, and that you are part of it, and it cannot happen without you. You are the source of what is eternal that shall blossom upon this earth. You are the wellspring of the love that will generate a field within which all are empowered who wish to become part of it. You are essential to this transformation. Have no fear. You cannot be lost to yourselves. Even in the depth of what seems like uncertainty, you cannot be lost to yourselves. Fear not what change is transformational on this earth. Fear not the great vibrations that tone into the heart space of the earth and create the wreckages of spacious lands. Do not worry about where this path is taking you. Know that you are held within a light that is all encompassing and cannot be lost from you. And you are guided into a new formation of what is within you, into a new reality that waits to embrace you. It is what you are already a part of now. It is that heart space that endeavors to fill you with every breath, that stretches to become the reality that you will fulfill. It has not come yet, but it is increasingly empowered as each moment goes by, as the old forms of reality break, as the need that has been shattered within so many from disappointment and loss shakes them free of the slumbering which has denied them their truth. You will find yourselves a source of enrichment and empowerment for the all. You may share the gift inside of you, the certainty of a truth that you can carry, which is that you are not far long for what shall be a brand new reality, ready to embrace you. You may carry within you this space, this peace, and let it grow. Internal, bit by bit, breath by breath, it becomes increasingly your internal reality. Take heart in every moment where you are able to hold your faith in self and your faith in light. Take heart in every instant where you are embracing what is new and what is moving through you. In the moments where you are lost from it, fear not, for that is part of the journey, and your vibration will not settle there. It will move down and up into each vibration that needs its own claim upon your attention, each way of existing that requires recognition. Allow yourself this processing of what is within you. Allow yourself these momentary truths to come forward and release themselves from within you. Open your heart to loving what is down in the depths of each and every person that you meet. Have no fear of anyone, of what they are processing, of how their violence comes forward in times of their greatest need. Fear not the journey that they are on. It will lead them as they are meant to go. It will take them to where they are needing to be. And you yourselves will now find increasing freedom as you are stretching forward, ready to meet what comes increasingly free, freed from what was, freedom to be and become your truth. And this is what humanity is needing. I bless you and say thank you. I strengthen your hearts with my own blessing and say goodbye. Okay, so I love how Isla, how she speaks. She's so different from the angels. The angels, it would be like a lot of the language that they would use would be very multidimensional. You know, they would even include words that had like multiple layers and multiple meanings because angels see all realities at once. So they have this incredible perspective that's like this holographic perspective, and it would come through and like they would choose words that had 5 meanings and they would mean all 5. So it was always their messages in that way were really, really intense. And Isla's have a very different feeling to me, but I love them. There's so much love in those messages, in the way she speaks. I love channeling her. She's just amazing. So, okay, so let's talk about the message, and go through it. And there's definitely some cool things to pull out here that I think that we can integrate and hold a little more closely for ourselves. So she says in the first paragraph, she says, Blessed beings, I'm with you once again. You are not alone. There are good things coming. There are new things arriving for you very soon, new things of awakening, new times of exploring. There's change on the horizon. And yes, equally far as you all can see, there is change coming. So change for everyone. So everything. So there's and we know this, like we've been hearing this from Isla and from the angels about the events that we're really in the middle of. We see these things starting to happen, and they've been happening and starting to happen even more increasingly. If you're not familiar, I do have a book where I kind of go through. I started getting messages about the events of the shift back in 2020, and I have like 4 years of those sort of cherry picked and condensed in this book. So if you'd like a shortcut to what's going to happen, this is it. This is called What's Coming Next. And so the information is in here, and it does connect. So every message, I've included a QR code that links to the video. So if you are more of a listener than a reader, you can use the book to organize how you're processing and taking in and deciding, because it's all organized by the topic areas and the different types of messages that I got. So anyway, so that is there for you. It's on Amazon if you'd like it. But the big thing here is that yes, there's stuff coming that is difficult. We can see it, like we are the frogs in the boiling pot. We can see that the world is increasingly chaotic. And stuff that would have felt 4 years ago it was more than 4 years ago, actually 6 years ago when I got those first messages, it felt crazy. It's like some of the stuff that came through I felt like the crazy person in the park holding up the sign, like, the end is nigh. I felt nutty. And now it's just like, oh yeah, we just accept it. People talk about, the US falling apart. Oh yeah, that's just a thing. It's, oh yeah, civil war, whatever. I don't think we're going to have a war internally, but it's bizarre how dramatically our perspective has changed in a relatively very short time period. But the key here is that she is saying that good events are coming. That there's this other stuff that's happening, which is part of letting go of the old way of being. But she wants us to focus and they've said, the angels and her both said, that it is in the very same moment that something falls apart, there is something new rising, the phoenix from the ashes. And that is where we're meant to focus and direct our attention. And so she's saying, new things arriving for you very soon, things of awakening, new times of exploring, right? There's change on the horizon. Yes, equally far as you all can see, there's change coming. So it's for everyone. Next paragraph, there's change that is happening now in your environments where you are, which you are observing. But these changings are of the type to transform. So we're used to change, right? Change is happening all the time, but this is where it's really ramping up. She's saying this is the kind of change that's going to transform. This is the change that's going to make the difference. This is a change we've been waiting for. And she says not to modify, but to subject the old to a refabrication in their entirety, to make wholly renewable, to change what was and to reform it into a new structure, a new way of life and living. And this is coming. So huge, because it's been sort of like watching and waiting to see, is this going to be the thing that's going to turn the tide? Is this crazy last event that just happened, is that going to be the thing that's finally going to make a lasting change? And so far, it's just been building. I think of it as like rubber bands that just get stretched and stretched. And the crazy thing is, it's in like every factor, every way of looking at society, at our lives right now. They're all under stress. So political systems are significantly under stress. The economic system is significantly under stress, and along more than one vector, right? It is, corporate debt. It is national debt. It's just like, it's every which way you look. The rubber bands are just getting, and even in like the social structures and within our societies, it's like people are going bonkers. And so it's like every rubber band getting tighter and tighter and tighter. So you wonder, when these crazy things happen, is that going to be the thing that's going to make the change? She says, the change is coming. The thing that transforms, the change that makes the difference. That is what we're on the brink of, which is actually like the aftermath, right? The new reality is what we're excited about, and things have to fall apart for us to get to the new reality. It frees the energy, right? We take the energy from what was, and that is what the phoenix rises from. So that's the part we're going to focus on and be excited about. So she says, but these changing are the type to transform, not to modify, but to subject the old to a refabrication in their entirety, to make wholly renewable, to change what was and to reform it into a new structure, a new way of life and living. And this is coming. So structural change. She goes on to say, next paragraph, and for yourselves who are in every moment awakening further and further, who are in each instant of breath climbing onto higher and higher precipices upon which you will gaze out across what will be your new future, you are coming into a time where you are separating from that which was. And as you do, shall you feel loss? Not as you are thinking. Shall you feel fear? Not as you are imagining. Because the new shall herald your name so bright, so light, so free, that you will rise into it in the freedom of one who has found release. I love that. And she's saying like we as a community, like those of us who are on the spiritual train, who have been interested in these topics, that you are drawn, like you watch these kinds of videos, you have been working on yourself, right? You've been listening to what's going on inside of you, and that is what's drawing us. This openness to what is really our internal truth has been drawing us, as she says, onto higher and higher precipices, right? As we are opening more and more to seeing ourselves and to having faith that we are on a journey to something better, and faith in ourselves. She says we are on a journey of separating from what was, of letting go of the old systems. And so will we feel fear or feel loss? Like, not in the way that we've been thinking about it. And she'll talk more about that later. But I love at the end, as she says, okay, when this stuff happens, that it will feel like we are rising into the freedom of one who has found release. So that's the whole point of it, is that, and I've talked about this before, but it is some of these things that are going to be changing are a lot like having that 9 to 5 job that we think we have to have, the job that is maybe does not speak to your soul at all, doesn't fill you or feed you in any way other than paying the bills, and it keeps you locked into a structure that is disempowering and that doesn't really let you live whatever your soul is guided to live, doesn't let you live your joy. But at the same time, there's a lot of fear of letting that go because the bills are there and how am I supposed to pay them, right? And if there's no obvious other path, what do I do? And that's where the freedom part comes in, is that sometimes the systems that fall apart, we think we need them, but in truth, they were a prison of a sort. And they were keeping us locked into a way of being or a way of living that wasn't serving us. And so this is what she's talking about, is that will it feel like loss? Not the way we're thinking of it. That in fact, it will feel like freedom. And then she goes on to say, the change that is arising for each of you shall be customized to your own frame of reference, to your own starting point, to the place where you are now and today. Shall it begin in the same moment? Not exactly, not as you would wish it to come, not as if there could be a predicted moment upon which all of you may land your hopes and aspirations. But as you are each readying yourself to reinterpret what comes, to see the new rising, from the old to begin again. So, in other words, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. If you are relatively new to this pathway, right? If you are still working through some tough stuff, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Like it's all right. And she's saying that these changes will come to us and meet us where we are. And that's fantastic. And if you've done a bunch of work on yourself, that's amazing too, because that's what we get to take with us, right? Our soul is expanded. The more we heal, the more our soul is expanded. And that we can let in more light, more love. Like that's infinitely ours forever. Like we get to take it with us. And our soul is forever a brighter, deeper, richer soul. So that is amazing. But don't feel left out if you're new to the party. Know that this is going to come and meet you where you are. And it's going to give you what you need to move forward, which is really exciting. So the change that's coming. So, and then she says, is it going to happen at the same time for everybody? No, that there'll be waves and there will be periods like even now where some of you are moving in and out of these higher frequencies where you have moments. And I know that's happening for me, which is kind of wild, where I keep having these glimpses where I had a couple times I had the most intense experiences of telepathy, where I was talking to someone and their thoughts were so much louder than what they were saying. It was like two people talking to me at once, and it was that clear. It wasn't like a feeling. It was like literally the words of their heart were speaking to me in a louder voice than the words coming out of their mouth. And it happened to two people in a row. Boom, boom. Blew my mind. And I haven't been able to replicate it yet. But Isla told me that it's because I'm stretching. And I'm just like she's saying, I'm moving in and out of this frequency where sometimes I'm in it. And then, it's like this thing where, and that's all of us right now. But more and more, we're hoping to hold that. I've had other crazy experience where you may have heard me talk about this on a different video, but I was driving home. I have a big garden, and I was driving home from the plant nursery, and my car was completely packed with plants, and I had all these little tiny baby ferns, and I swear to you, they were singing and I could hear them, and I could stop listening, like I could kind of pull my attention away, and then I came back again, and there they were still singing, and it blew my mind. And so there's these experiences I've been having that it's not, I mean, I wish I could have them all the time. I had a dream about it actually the other night where I was in the dream, I'm standing at an open door, my door's wide open, and I know that up above on a landing is a young man who represents me. He's my masculine energy, my male energy. And he's standing up there just smiling, and he's just very peacefully being with me, reading my thoughts. Like not even reading, I would say he's listening to my thoughts as he's up there. And it's showing me this is right there. Like it's that close. You know what I mean? And so it was a really cool dream. It's just kind of like, hey, this is coming down the pike. And interesting for me that it was a male. So this is, for me, it's something along my masculine energy. So I don't know if there's still some things I have to sort through on my own journey related to that to help get to that next station, right? That next level of frequency. We'll see. But it's they're coming in and out. And so maybe you guys are having that same experience right now, which I think is it's just showing us that it is the beginnings really started in like that December time window is when it's like that was kind of the first instigation of the new reality. But it's just like the first threads of a tapestry. You can't see the picture yet. It's just the beginning. So, and that's my understanding of it from what Isla and the angels have told me. So, okay, so then she goes on to say, where is it right here? Okay, so this is the idea that does it begin in the same moment? Does it happen all at once in terms of everybody moving to the new reality all at once? Not necessarily, because there will be, I think I got totally off my thought line there, but to get back onto it, is that there will be waves where some people will go very early, other people will wait and come a little later, and there's no judgment. And that doesn't mean that they've like lost the race. There's no race. Is that there will be some souls that know that they can actually accomplish more by staying in the 3D construct a little bit longer, because there's some souls that were very, very ambitious, right? Many of you, maybe this is that there are very old souls who have chosen a very difficult journey because they knew that this round of living is like the time for like catching the golden ring. Like this is the time where you can do more healing than was really possible in any other lifetime. And so that's why it was such a lottery ticket to come at this time, is because we knew that the potential for our soul growth was extreme. So because this is the first lifetime where we've had access to our entire Akashic record, where we could heal as much as we have the capacity to heal, we could heal. And so some souls maybe say, okay, I'm going to hold off and I'm going to wait a little bit, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time in the karmic construct so that I can just wring a little bit more goodness out of this change and out of this environment where change happens so easily, which is our 3D reality. And then they will shift across. And so there will be waves like when the flash of light comes, which we don't have a specific date for, but my hope is it will be this year in 2026, but the angels are not big on dates. They don't give a lot of dates. So anyways, when that happens, that will bring a lot of people into the new reality. And then, but then it will be, it will be onesie twosie. After that, it'll be as we are ready. So there's no, what I'm trying to say is there's not a rush. There's no deadline that you're trying to meet. That, and not to worry if you are one of the first ones, or if you come later. It is not a statement about your vibration or, how good you are. It's not in any way. It's just like depending on what's right for your plan for your life. and how it can benefit you most in the big picture, right? As a soul, to use this experience that the earth is going through for you, for your highest and best. So, but then she's saying that when that moment happens, it will be when we have readied ourselves to reinterpret what comes, to see the new rising from the old, to begin again. So it's a shift in our own perspective. That is what sort of dictates when we make the shift. So she goes on to say, and this is really the important piece of the message today. She says, there must be within the self a degree of fortification, a degree of strength that you can find for your own new arrival. There must be a fortification that takes place now as you are preparing for this great insolvency of the world as it has been, and the great arrival of what is new that is coming for yourselves. You must pull yourselves up from the depth of what could be a changing formation. You must rise into the specter of what can become something beautiful and transformative for yourselves and this world. So there's a lot said here in this paragraph. So the big thing here is this idea that we need to strengthen ourselves, is that we are heading into a period where we're going to see some of the biggest changes start, that we're going to start to see these moments where there's some of these structures that we rely on start to look really unstable. And that can be scary. And she even talks about here, she says that as you're preparing for this great insolvency of the world, insolvency means inability to pay one's debts. So that could mean, of course, like the financial system is, and the financial system, the biggest issue is there are many, many nations, many, many companies, major corporations and countries that are not able to pay their debts right now. And so that is a piece of it. But then we also have karmic debts, right? And so that karmic is coming due at this point in time. So it's all of it. And she's saying we need a degree of strength that we can find for our own new arrival. There must be a fortification that takes place now as we are preparing for it. So she's really saying, okay, you guys, it's time for us to get ready internally. And the internal, you guys, is that's the main game. Is for us, it is what's happening inside, and it is us working with our own internal landscape through this process. And she's going to give us really specific guidance here about how to do it in a way that helps us, to makes us feel stronger. So she says, you must pull yourselves up from the depth of what could be a changing formation. So so it could be scary. It could feel like, boy, this is heavy stuff that's coming. We need to pull ourselves up and out of it. And she says, you must rise into the specter of what can become something beautiful. A specter is something that is widely feared as unpleasant or dangerous. Sometimes a ghost is called a specter, but it's something scary. It's like a kind of a foggy, unknown, scary, like, oh my gosh, this could mean something dangerous. That's like a specter, right? It's out there. And she's saying we have to rise into it and realize that it can become something beautiful and transformative for ourselves and the world. So this is that perspective shift that we need to make. Is the specter, where someone else might see a specter, we see the phoenix rising from the ashes, and we focus on that, right? We immediately start looking for where is the energy flowing, and where is the movement into something beautiful and transformative. So she goes on to say, there can be a wishful thinking that occurs in these momentary pauses between the now and the great changes. There can be feelings of being separated from what is your own truth. There can be fears that you are settled upon something that will not take you where you wanted, or that you will be left behind. And I would say you cannot be lost from what is within you. What is rising into the new day is yourselves. It is coming from within the very heart that you carry, and it cannot be lost from you. I pink highlighted that part because this is one of my favorite sections. So the first part here, she says, where there can be a wishful thinking that occurs in these momentary pauses between the now and the great changes. What she means there is that wishful thinking is not faith. Right? It is not the sense of like, we got this, it's going to be great, it's going to be awesome. Wishful thinking is like, gosh, I hope so. I hope it's going to be okay. Like, wishful thinking implies a lot of uncertainty. And so she's saying, like, you might be feeling uncertain coming forward, right? Rather than super strong in your sense of conviction that everything's going to be great. And she says there could be feelings that you feel separated from your truth, that you could feel fear that that things aren't going to work out how you wanted, or that maybe you'll be left behind in this whole big shift of consciousness. And then she says, not going to happen. Like, don't even let that into your consciousness. Why? And I absolutely love the reason why is she says, guess where the new consciousness is? It is literally coming from inside of you. So, and she says there's no possible way that you can be lost from it because you are it, that you are the new reality. You are creating the change from inside of you, that it literally is going to come out and go through, coming through your heart. And so she's like, there's no chance that you can miss the bus. It's not going to happen, which is just, I think, beautiful. It cannot be lost from you, she says. Then she goes on to say, it is only the strength that is needed to carry it. She says it is only the strength that is needed to carry it into the higher octave of existence. So like all that we need to get there is this strength, this internal faith, internal faith in ourselves, right? That's all that's required right now to help us get there and to help pull us up out of some of the challenges that are coming is faith in yourself. Then she goes on, there shall be, yes, in the times that are coming, great fluorescences of light that arrive to instill within you increased power, increased fortification for this renewal. But until those arrivals, there must be, within this time that is coming, strength from within, strength from the self that you are. So she is referencing here the flash of light. You know, there's major quantities of support coming in from the universe. You know, this flash of light is a huge one, but we know we've been getting incredible amounts of light coming to the planet all along. And so she says, yes, that's true. We will be getting external support. But in this time right now that we are heading into, we need to lean on our internal sense of strength. And so this is why she's telling us, like, it's time to be really conscious of our energy, really conscious of our thoughts, and to really focus on trying to strengthen ourselves from inside. And then she goes on to say, how can you find it? And what must it look like? Good question, right? Where do we find this strength? Like, what if you are in a state where you're like, okay, this is scary, or this isn't working out how I thought, or I want do-overs, whatever. She says, how do you make it? How do you create this strength? And then she says, this strength, what do I mean? She goes on to say, it is the strength of faith in yourself, the faith that you are made from love, that you have arrived to a point where you are able to embrace yourselves, where you are able to love what is within you. This is the strength that is required. So, and so keep in mind with this, that it's not an all or nothing. You don't have to get to a place of, if anything, like we're not meant to be perfect. You're not meant to ever get to a place where you're perfect, because that is like the opposite of growth, right? That would be, we're getting to a place where you're no longer working on yourself. So it's really about having faith in your capacity, faith in your love. You can be a very flawed being and be a very loving being, and to recognize that sometimes those flaws are the very things that awaken the love inside of you, right? I know that some of my biggest challenges in my life were the things that taught me the most compassion, that there's maybe things I wouldn't have understood in another person's behavior until I went through it myself. And then now I realize, oh, wow, I understand what that feels like. And that makes me way, way, way more compassionate, which taps into my own core of love inside. So it's really having faith that you can, and even if you can't access it all the time, you can access it some of the time. Like, even if sometimes you get really teed off about something, something really bugs you, eventually you can get back to that place of love inside you, that you trust that it's there. And so she goes on to say, this is the strength that is required. She says, turn inward in moments of doubt and offer yourselves that forgiveness which is required of all that has not yet been met with. So what do you do if you feel like that you're really having a bad day, you're really fearful, or you feel depressed, or whatever it is? She says, turn inward and forgive yourself for having those feelings. And don't fight it. Don't fight it as if like having that feeling is going to make you not go through the shift. She's like, nope, just let that whole thought out of your head, and turn inward when you have those experiences, and be conscious, be present with your feelings. She says, give yourself the peace of this pause and love yourselves internally. Stretch yourselves no further than you are ready for. Do not force yourself into a shape that is not yet easily held. Be at peace with where you are, and take heart in where you are going and where you are being led by what is within you. So it's really about not judging ourselves for where we are now, and coming to peace with what's inside of us. And that That's it. Like that's what we got to do. And I love this part about like don't force yourself into a shape that's not you, that you're not there, that or that it doesn't feel natural yet, or it's like putting on a face and pretending that everything's all right, that it's if you're feeling low, then acknowledge I am feeling low, and then try to spend time with that part of yourself, that with that energy. Try to spend time with that and just let it express itself inside of you, and trust that it's taking you somewhere that you need to be. So she goes on to say the strength can be made bolder within community for each other, with each other, holding for each other hope, holding for each other what is settling within your own hearts. And so this is, I think, a really important piece of this is that we're not meant to go it alone. Is that if you have community, and I know many of you have created spiritual community, which is incredible. Some of you I know feel like the lone crazy lighthouse out in the middle of a great sea of people who are asleep. And I know that I had that feeling myself before until I started a community and was able to find others. But if you are looking for community, come and I have a community called Soul Society, and I'll put it in the description box so you can find it. And even if you come, I have 2 weeks free on there. Even if you just come for these next couple weeks, if you can't do it on a regular basis, just come for the 2 free weeks, and you will find community in that space. We've got people there from all over the world, and people meet. They meet there. They meet in person. They've loads of people gone out to lunch. People are doing podcasts together. They're making friends. I mean, it's just amazing. So come if you are looking for that support. If you don't have it, now would be a great time. Come and that community, the whole point of it. I also do a weekly clearing there for everybody in the community, which is it's just awesome general energy hygiene to keep you clear and to keep you feeling good. But the community is huge. So it like now is a great time for it. So if you want that, I'll put the link in it's called Soul Society, and I'll put the link down below for you. So okay. So then she says, the strength can be made bolder within community, for each other, with each other, holding for each other hope, holding for each other what is settling within your own hearts. Whisper to one another words of encouragement and strength. Find that there will be movement or moments where fear settles within you, and do not worry about this. Notice the fear, allow the fear, and let the love inside you settle down with it, and embrace it until it feels heard. Isn't that a gorgeous description? So imagine if rather than feeling that depression and then the judgment that comes and the desire not to feel it, if like you wake up and you just feel heavy one day and you're just trying to shake it off and shake it off. And rather than trying to shake it off, what if you just sat down for 10 minutes and just went inward to those feelings, and you are the observer and you are bringing love to those feelings and just letting them be heard. And it's amazing how powerful that can be to help to dissipate. It integrates the experience and dissipates the emotion. She says, and know yourselves to be on a path that is drawing you higher and higher into greater and greater shapes of your truth. All right, next paragraph. That which will rise from within you will leave behind the shapes of internal torment that sometimes lead you into hardship. Do not worry about those parts of you that you have not yet found friendship with. Do your best. Give yourself the rest that is needed. Offer yourself peace from your internal struggles. Be not in judgment of where you are today and where you are imperfect. So I think this is a very huge part to getting to the space where we have faith in ourselves, right? And remember, that's the key. The thing we're trying to drive towards here is faith in ourselves. So one of the ways we get there is by not expecting ourselves to be perfect, accepting that we sometimes have a low moment, and giving ourselves peace when we do, right? Not being in judgment of ourselves. That is one of the ways that we can start to have faith in ourselves, because you are way more good than you are challenged inside. And so it's just we tend to focus on the challenge. And then she says, know that the journey is unfolding with you within it, and that you are part of it, and it cannot happen without you. And then this next again, pink highlighters coming out here. She says, you are the source of what is eternal, that shall blossom upon this earth. You are the wellspring of the love that will generate a field within which all are empowered who wish to become part of it. You are essential to this transformation. And I feel like I just want to write that down and put that on my bathroom mirror, because it's beautiful, and it's really, really true. And I think it's just saying, don't don't undersell yourself. Don't sell yourself short in terms of the role that you are playing by being here. That love that is you is there regardless of what you've been through and regardless of what you're facing right now. It's there. And so it's really just learning to have faith in that, to not judge the areas that don't feel in alignment with that love, and to recognize that's just part of the journey. But the love is always there. And that is the love that is going to generate the new reality. The new reality is the field of love that comes from inside of all of us. So, and Isla's explained it to us before, which is just amazing, is that it comes from giving ourselves the freedom to be and giving others the freedom to be. And that experience of giving and receiving freedom from ourselves, it removes the obstacles in front of our heart so that the divine spark inside of us can flow freely. And that is what generates the field of the new reality. So it really is coming from inside of you. And so that's the whole thing where she says it can't happen without you because you are it. You are the thing. You are the source where it's coming from. So amazing. Then she goes on to say, have no fear. You cannot be lost to yourselves. Even in the depth of what seems like uncertainty, you cannot be lost to yourselves. Fear not what change is transformational on this earth. Fear not the great vibrations that tone into the heart space of the earth and create the wreckages of spacious lands. Do not worry about where this path is taking you. Know that you are held within a light that is all-encompassing and cannot be lost from you. So, and she's speaking, we know that they've said the earth rift could happen anytime, and the message was sometime in the next year, in the next anniversary was the message. A very, very rare bit of timing that we received. And I think that was like maybe back in August or something. And so, yeah, but I also have heard from the angels that there would be multiple, like many earth shiftings, earth, like lots of stuff. The image I got was like sloshing of the water, like the water sloshing, lots of earth movement. And understand that these earth movements are about the earth healing herself. It's her opening up, letting her emotions and her baggage come forward to the surface to be healed. So we don't want to try to pray it away or wish it away. We want to try to hold her, to witness and to soften her experience, to let her have a safe space in which to let her emotions out. And that will hopefully soften the experience that we're going to have on earth of her healing. Next paragraph, she says, and you are guided into a new transformation of what is within you, into a new reality that waits to embrace you. It is what you are already a part of now. It is that heart space that endeavors to fill you with every breath, that stretches to become the reality that you wish you will fulfill. It has not come yet, but it is increasingly empowered as each moment goes by, as the old forms of reality break. As the need that has been shattered within so many from disappointment and loss shakes them free of the slumbering which has denied them their truth. So, and I love that last bit there. So what she's saying there is that these events that are coming, part of the role that they will play is they will wake people up, right? That there's a whole lot of people that are still very asleep right now, and that going through some of these challenges is going to be instrumental on their journey to help them to start to wake up, which is that is a really good thing. Then she goes on to say, you will find yourselves, and by the way, who else besides me had to have calamity in their lives? Like for me, it was a divorce, right? That I had to have like the entire structure of my life torn apart so that I would then question everything, right? And I know, like, whether it be an illness, a divorce, losing your job, it's like, your house burned down, like who knows what it is. But that's like kind of how it happens, right? It's very rare is the person that's just like, no, I just was walking down the street one day and I woke up. I know normally it's like something hit me like a 2x4 across the forehead and then I woke up, because we are stubborn. Humans don't like change. We're like, no, I'm just going to stay in my nice little life in my nice little box. And so we got to have something that tears it apart. So if you were one of those ones that got it in your, Sunday morning stroll and all of a sudden, wake up, then that is amazing. And you must be a very flexible person. But for most of us, it takes a little something. And so it takes a lot of something. And so that is the thing, that these events will be that for many, many humans. Next paragraph, she says, you will find yourselves a source of enrichment and empowerment for the all. Right? You may share the gift inside of you, the certainty of a truth that you can carry, which is that you are not far long for what shall be a brand new reality ready to embrace you. Right? You may carry within you this space, this peace, and let it grow internal bit by bit, breath by breath. It becomes increasingly your internal reality. Take heart in every moment where you are able to hold your faith in self and your faith in light. Take heart in every instant where you are embracing what is new and what is moving through you. So, this is that idea that where is the new reality right now? We're carrying it inside of us and we're building it every little moment that we're able to be in that sense of faith of ourselves and faith in where we're going. Every little minute is a minute that we're standing in the new reality. And so she's saying here that we can share that is a light that you carry. And certainly, yeah, it's a source of enrichment and empowerment for others. So you, by carrying that sense of faith, you are giving others the strength that they're going to need, which is amazing. Bit by bit, right? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Bit by bit, it all counts. And then she says, in the moments where you are lost from it, fear not, for that is part of the journey, and your vibration will not settle there. So in other words, if there's periods where you just really feel like what is happening, and maybe I've missed the bus or whatever, she says, don't worry. Like, that is part of the journey, and you're not going to feel that way permanently. It will be a moment that you feel that way. She says your vibration will not settle there. It will move down and up into each vibration into each vibration that needs its own claim upon your attention, each way of existing that requires recognition. Allow yourself this processing of what is within you. Allow yourself these momentary truths to come forward and release themselves from within you. So these moments where you're having doubt, where you're having struggle or fear, that you feel like you're the yo-yo, going up and down, where you're feeling a really low day and then a really high day. The low days are moments where you have the opportunity to process stuff that's lingering, old baggage that's still hanging around, right? And she's saying that will continue to happen as part of the journey, that into each vibration. So in a vibration meaning like any emotion or anything like that needs its own claim upon your attention, each way of existing that requires recognition. So that's all it needs, is to be recognized. So when it happens, what do? We sit down and we sit with it, and we bring our loving self into relationship with that feeling and let it be heard, like listen to ourselves. And that's how we end up integrating and healing those parts. So, and then next paragraph, she says, open your heart to loving what is down in the depths of each and every person that you meet. Have no fear of anyone, of what they are processing, of how their violence comes forward in times of their greatest need. Fear not the journey that they are on. It will lead them as they are meant to go. It will take them to where they are needing to be. And so this is that idea that people may struggle. Other people may really struggle during these times. And they're saying, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of their struggle. And, I don't know if like, have you ever noticed that if you have somebody who's going through something really difficult, it can be really, really hard to find the right words to say, because it's really difficult in those times. What words? There's nothing you can say to make it better, but that's the point, is that we as humans often want to make it better. We want to fix, because the other person's situation makes us uncomfortable. We don't know how to respond. And so we are looking for words that will fix it, when in fact, it doesn't need to be fixed. They don't want to be fixed just yet. And my daughter was my best teacher on this one, is that I am a fixer and my daughter is a feeler, and she wants to have her feelings. And there was a period when she was growing up that she would be telling me what her feelings were, and I would be solutioning. I'd be like, well, you should do this and you should do that and you should try it this way and that would change it. And I kept trying to fix her feelings. Until finally I had another friend who was similar to my daughter, who was also a deep feeler. And she said she doesn't want you to fix her feelings. She wants to have her feelings. Like, she is actually enjoying the experience of having her feelings. Stop trying to fix her. I was like, oh, okay. So this is not a bad thing from her perspective. Like, yes, she's having deep feelings, but this is the journey that she's just like reading. Some people love dramas. Other people I like comedies. She likes dramas. She wants the feelings. She wants to move through them. And so once I realized that, I stopped trying to fix whatever she was experiencing, and I just listened. And that transformed everything. Like, and I learned her pattern. Like, she needs to go through it 3 times. Like, she needs to tell me the first time, and I just listen, and oh, okay, I understand. And tell me about how you're feeling and what, wow, that must be hard. Tell me some more. And then she'll go through the whole thing, and then she'll pause and take a breath, and I'll wait. And then she'll go through and she'll do the whole thing again, like in a whole nother time. And she'll tell me all the things, and she'll repeat herself, everything. She said it all, but she has to say it a second time. And I just listen, right? And then after that, she'll do it one more time, not as much, like about like a half time, one more round. And then finally she's got it all worked out, and she's like, okay, let's go, let's go, whatever. She's like off and happy. It's like amazing. She just needs, and if I'm in there trying to solution, I'm anyways, I'm messing with her wah. If I'm in there trying to make a solution for her. So my point is that I think that my reaction is not uncommon, that we can be made very uncomfortable by other people who are struggling because we don't know how to fix it, and we feel like we have to fix it. We see them suffering, we don't want them to suffer, so we feel like we have to have some, and if we don't know how to fix it, we don't know what to say, so we try to avoid, or we become uncomfortable. We even are afraid of them and what they're experiencing. And it really helps me to think about that, about the experience that they're having isn't one I have to fix, but that by me being present with them and just being compassionate, that is the most powerful thing. In the same way that I say with the earth, when the earth is going through her healing, as she is having major earth events, that if I was in there and I was like, I'm going to fix you, earth, good luck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the little tiny human, I'm going to fix you. No, if I just give her my presence, and if I just witness, if I just sit with her through her healing. And I think it's the same with any human. If we just give them like undirected, loving energy that doesn't try to fix or change, just undirected, loving presence is the most powerful thing that we can do. And so not to fear it. If we see people struggling, and she even mentions how their violence comes forward in times of their greatest need, don't be afraid of them. If you see people who are acting out, who are rioting or whatever, don't be afraid of them. Like, recognize that they're coming from, it's the period of their greatest need, and try to send them undirected, loving energy. Just give them presence. Give them your presence. And that doesn't mean like stand in front of them. I just mean hold them in loving thoughts, right? And send them undirected, loving energy. But that is the idea. Fear not the journey that they are on. It will lead them as they are meant to go. It will take them to where they are needing to be. And then she says, last paragraph, she says, and as you yourselves will now find increasing freedom as you are stretching forward, ready to meet what comes, increasingly free, freed from what was, freedom to be and become your truth. And this is what humanity is needing. I bless you. I say thank you. I strengthen your hearts with my own blessing and say goodbye. And this last part here, where she says that freedom, right? Freedom to be and be your truth. This is what humanity is needing. This right here is just a reiteration of that very important message that we got before about what is creating the new reality, what allows us to open up our hearts and create this new field of vibration that we're trying to become a part of, this new reality. It is giving ourselves the freedom to be what we are and giving others that same freedom without reserve, right? And that's the same thing. It's like, don't judge. If somebody is really going through it, if they're going bonkers because they're so stressed out, don't be afraid of them. Just hold them in loving presence, right? And that is give them the freedom to have their journey without judgment, and to try to love and be present for them. Give them your witness, your presence. Yeah, so really beautiful message. I think that the key here is this idea that we need to take this time. It's like a period of pause almost, where we need to use this time to fortify ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to hold our resolve, and we can find more of that strength together in community. So find your communities. There are really cool spiritual communities like all over the place. So if you don't have one yet, now might be a good time to make an effort in that department, and just try to find some others that you feel can support you and that you can support, right, as we go through this time. And even if it's not a spiritual community, even if it's just neighbors who maybe don't necessarily feel about or think about the world in the same way that you do, but that you can have friendship with, that can really make a difference. And then that helps you. Starting to build local communities helps you to strengthen the fabric of the community around you. which that'll be a big deal as we go into some of these changes. So, yeah. So whatever you can do to fortify yourselves right now and to really try to be aware of the love that's inside of you and to put more of your focus on the love and less of a focus on the things that maybe you wish were different. All right, you guys, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm very grateful. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Sending you tons of love, and I will see you guys next Friday live. Bye, you guys.